finances.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Laura.
Good morning.
How the heck are y'all?
Good. You?
I'm doing good.
How was the trip?
It was very interesting. So
That's
we
a
went,
word.
I made the offer, Greg accepted it, got in the car, got halfway home. They called up and said, yeah, we don't want to do it this way. And so he's on the phone with them. We talked with him quite a while on the car ride home. And then he's on the phone with them now. And I think he's going to go back up there. So I'm just like, whatever is going to happen. Well, actually, here's what I really am. I'm a strong believer in God is in control. And when things look weird, just relax because he's doing something and you never know what it is. And it will be okay.
Yeah.
So we don't know. I mean, the issue is right now is that they bought it, but then they said they didn't want to buy it. And so now we've got footage of him selling it, which they can air legally. They can totally air it. And we don't want them to air it because then if he does go to sell it in the future, then what is he really selling? Because there's, proof he sold it already.
Right.
So whatever, he's on the phone with them working it through. And he'll go through whatever it is he works through. But let's see, good news. I got a ton of work yesterday. Oh, I know what my good news is. I have to do a speech on Saturday for Toastmasters. I'm really trying to figure out how to get that straight in my head. And I finally woke up this morning. I was straight in my head. It's written. Now I just got to start there working on practicing it through. So that's my good news.
Excellent.
Yeah, it is very good. And I am notorious for it. Because my goal is to do them all extemporaneously, 5 to 7 minutes without any notes. And I'm notorious for a cram at the end, like a serious cram at the end. And I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna be
Well, if this is any consolation, when I was working in higher ed, we used to study this. And studies did show that whether you are a learner that can take a test and kind of pace out your writings for papers or study for exam, or whether you are a last minute got to get it done and execution style type, the studies showed you'll do just as well as those that planned it out, because that's how you learn, that's how you work. Because I'm like you, give me the deadline and I'll wait till the 11th hour to get it done, because I can just constrain and focus.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have to.
Because exactly, you're forced to. And my testament to that is I wrote a grad paper the day it was due up until 3:30 when the class started. It's still good news. So there is a method to the madness and it works.
The teacher is like, you have all year to work on this. And
exactly.
You only have half a year. You only have a quarter. You have 1 day. I'm not sleeping tonight.
Exactly. It's like
all
they're
right.
stressed because I'm not following their model, but it all worked out in the end. So
always
you'll be fine.
Done. That's a very cool study. Thank you for that. All right, you guys, let's go. What you guys got?
I am going to be turning down somebody for a listing.
You're doing what?
I'm going to turn somebody down for a listing, I think.
All right, let's hear the why.
Well, we went out, I took Sarah yesterday. We went out to Remo Bluff and we spent hours.
Okay, you're breaking up, you're alien. I got that you took Sarah out to the listing and you spent hours out there. And you're frozen now. All right, we're gonna circle back around with you, Kathy. You hang on to that. Laura, let's see if we've got you in a not dead spot.
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
My good news is that I went to this. Sorry, I'm driving and I kind of got distracted. Okay. I went to this wellness takeover at Macy's, and there was businesses there all about healthy, And I was talking to some of the business owners, and I talked to one of the people that worked at Macy's, and she said that they have like a real estate webinar and that they do. And you can have a table and then blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I need to get her email address. So we exchanged emails. I added her to my newsletter, and me and her are going to be in talks, because she was like, yeah, I talk to real estate agents all the time, you know? So that's good news.
Laura, that's huge news. This is from a girl. Okay, did you guys hear this girl? Like, what day was that? I don't know. Thursday. What day is today? Wednesday. It was, I don't know. I think it was Thursday. I can't do blah, blah, blah. If I could see your face, I would love to see a big old, there you go, big old shiny grin, man.
Congratulations, Laura. That's awesome.
That's
Wow.
huge.
Thanks, y'all.
Oh my goodness gracious. I love that. I absolutely love that. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And apparently when the teacher is ready, the students will appear.
Amen to that. Okay. And
Uh-huh.
she was super nice. She's one of those people. She just got the Macy's position. She's been in sales for like 15 years. And she was so bubbly and nice. Like, she wanted to help. And I'm like, I don't even know you. So I was like,
Aw,
oh, okay, cool.
I love that because that's who you are too. You want to help even when you don't know people. That's who you are. You attract what you are. That's quite cool. All right, who else has got some good news?
All right, can you hear me? So I can.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yep.
Like I said, Sarah and I went out there. We met afterwards at a coffee shop. So we had Wi-Fi to go through stuff. Did all that, decided that it wasn't, she was going to lose money. She, based on what they need and what the market showed, you know, she's going to lose money.
Phil?
All right. So I told her that last night, and I told her to think about what she wanted to do, that she had a couple options, but that I didn't think we were going to break even. You know, maybe
Right.
if she did a lease to own, that she'd have time to recoup money to come to the table with, whatever. But that I did not know what to tell her to do other than to rent it again, fix it up, rent it again, and or lease to own kind of thing. So that's what I told her. She thought about it. She called me back. She said, we want to do, we want to list it, and we want to list it for 190.
What is it comping out at?
I told her that I had a feeling that she wasn't going to get 155.
Okay.
Because all 55 was the low end, and all of the ones we looked at were move-in ready. They didn't need work, and they were, you know, obviously the market has continued to drop. You know, the lowest I found that was 110 in the area, and you know, that wasn't a comp, that was a good comp, but anyway, it just gives you an idea. And so I told her that. She came back, said she wanted to list it at 190, and I said, okay, well, I'll look at the comps again and we'll go from there.
Okay,
And
first up, oh, I'm sorry, continue on.
Yeah, let me tell you first.
Yeah.
Didn't sleep well, tossed and turned with that and other things, but I came up going, I called Sarah this morning and I said, this is the way I feel, and this is what's happened. Because it's in her text saying that that's what she wanted to do. We are going to call her on a three-way after I get done with this next meeting that I got to go to, and tell her that, ask her for the comps that she said she found that supported that one. If she has them, she can share that, because we didn't come up with them. And two, then tell her that we believe she should list it herself.
Okay, I want to hold there. I want to congratulate you for not wanting to take an overpriced listing. So I want to congratulate you on that. And then I want to circle back to an overpriced listing in a downturn market and to deal with some stuff with that, because I think that's a really good subject to deal with, especially now. Okay, so we lost Bree. So Liz.
I guess just an update on yesterday and assisting my hairdresser with her recent rental move-in issue. We just kind of we kind of talked through some things and moved her along to some options that she has based on her current move-in condition of her unit. and we'll see what happens in terms of this could potentially turn into a new rental situation for her, which she's like, would you help me next time? Because she did all this herself. And I think she's realizing the value of using realtors. Or, just we've gotten her some good options to a resolution of either getting her into a new unit, or this property management company is really good about their guidelines in terms of she has 7 days to make a decision of whether or not she wants to move on, or they can move her to a new unit altogether, or she can still term the lease and have 30 days to find something else. So I helped her get some information together to gather all those options and looked through her lease for other things that she needs to consider, and we'll see what happens. So it felt really good to help her out yesterday.
Cool beans. All right, Bree, what do you got?
So I have a buyer that spent her down payment money on a wedding and had financed a car, gotten a wreck. She's okay. They totaled the car out, paid it off, got her to buy a car cash. So her DTI is lower.
Mm-hmm.
She's ready to buy. I found a bank that does 100%. And we found a nonprofit to give her $10,000 towards closing.
Laura wants to know what DCI is.
DTI, debt to income.
There you
So
go.
her DTI was borderline, and it wasn't enough to qualify for certain down payment assistance. Down payment assistance. But I found a bank that, as long as her credit score was a certain amount, certain level, it didn't matter what her DTI was, as long as it fell within the FHA guidelines.
Is your bank portfolioing? Wow, why can this does not sound right. Are they portfolioing their loans? It does not sound right, so I might be
Like
mispronouncing.
keeping them.
Yeah.
So they're trying to expand, and they have to show that they're in certain markets.
So
Their market is very high end, but in
Mhm.
order to expand out beyond Davidson County or beyond where they are, they have to show diversity within their portfolio.
Yep.
So I've been targeting banks that need that. So she's a teacher that makes $50,000.
Mhm.
So I've got maybe 5 banks. Depending on what my client needs, I will put them towards that. And then they have a relationship with certain nonprofits like the Affordable Housing Program. And they can use that for closing costs.
Holy moly, girl.
So she's gonna buy a home with 3,000 max out of pocket.
So you're doing some amazing work here, Bree. You really are. That's very, very cool to go after banks like that. I highly suggest that it's worth it to go after those relationships with typically local credit unions and local banks. Look for ones that only have a couple of branches locally in your area, 5, 6 branches at most, maybe 10 or 12, but that's getting on the bigger side. But you're looking for those smaller banks and contact them and ask them if they portfolio their loans. And if they do, what are their guidelines? And from there, I've done my own personal financing with banks at portfolio also, just because it's a good fit. And
Right.
like my first one that I ever did, God, I don't know, 15 years ago, they said 20 maybe. They said, we do loans that make sense. And they do. And it just makes sense instead of the stupid guidelines, because everybody else has to bundle their stuff up and sell it. So they have guidelines and that's all they can do. They can only work here and that's it. So that behooves you to be able to do that. All right, PF, good job, Bree. What you got for good news?
Last night I went to a meetup event with a bunch of investors from the area. So I'm doing some of the things that Gary has been hammering into us for weeks and months now. So
Thanks.
that was a lot of fun. They had a local investor who grew herself very much in the same similar pattern as Gary. You know, came from an entrepreneurial family and started buying properties and fixing and flipping and stuff and so on and so forth, and hiring a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that was it was pretty good to meet up with people of that mindset.
Mm-hmm. I
So it
love
was pretty
that.
awesome. Yeah.
When I realized that I no longer wanted to be the smartest person in the room, and I finally realized it, which before all it was fear and pride and all wrapped up in insecurity of wanting to be the smartest person in the room. But when I finally realized that you don't get to grow if you're the biggest fish in the pond, stupid. So I wanted to go be the littlest fish in the biggest pond, and that changed everything. Everything. And suddenly my viewpoint of the world changed also, where I was like, dang, there is nobody very smart around me. Well, I put myself in positions like that. So now there's a lot of people that are just brilliant. I'm like, oh, what can you teach me? And I get to learn a lot more. I like it a lot better. It's a better place to be. So cool beans, PF. All right, let's dig, unless somebody has some pressing need, I would love to dig into what to do with an overpriced listing. Does anyone have any pressing, like, oh my gosh, let's deal with this instead? Or are you guys ready to, let's dig into like what's going on market wise?
Let's dig in.
Let's dig in. All right. So first off, and then I want to open it up to everybody and shoot for ideas and everything. First off, I know that I'm hammering on this, and I'm going to keep on hammering on it until someone comes to me and go, oh my God, Gina, I did this and I learned this and it was amazing. So what I think would be very interesting to do is to go pull look at what's selling, look at what's sold this 30 days, the prior 30 days, and the prior 30 days to that. Look specifically at days on market and also what price per square foot is. And have an idea in your head so that when there's something that's really powerful when you're on an appointment or at a barbecue or wherever it is that you are, and someone says, has the real estate market shifted? And you can say, well, yeah, price per square foot has gone from 255 to 220. That means the average home in this area, do the math, 2,000 square feet, has lost $30,000 in value. When you have exact numbers, or $27,800 in value, when you have exact numbers like this, that you can back up immediately with your numbers like that, that is a powerful conversation, much more powerful than, yeah, the market's shifting. What does it even mean? So really, I can't tell. I mean, I know I'm a numbers geek and I know I'm a reports geek, and I know that gave me all the confidence that I needed when I was on appointments to be able to nail my appointments and have my listing ratio, my appointment to listing ratio as high as that appointment to listing ratio was. So for me, I got 16 appointments a month, and then I listed 10 of those houses per month. However, I usually lost one appointment per week that I just got no-showed on or whatever happened. So I usually lost 4 appointments in a month. So out of my 12 that I had set that I went on, I took 10 of them. The other 2, either I couldn't beat them over the head and shoulders about the price and I refused to take them, or I don't know, whatever else had happened, whatever. So that was my ratio, but I put a lot of it down to, I knew my numbers and I could back up anything that I said, I could back it up instantly. Like I wasn't just spewing. How long did that ratio last? Laura, that's very good. When I first started listing, I ran at about a 50% listing ratio. And then once I figured a few months, years, okay, she wants to know in that direction. Okay, hang on, let me do some math. So from the beginning of 2009 to the very end of 2011, so 3 years total. And then I stopped, I became a team leader. So I ran at that really high listing ratio. Anyway, know your numbers. All right. What can you guys do? Let's hear ideas and throw stuff out there unless there's something else out there. Okay, there we go. We're caught up on the chat thing. What can you guys do what do you do with an overpriced listing? Like, what do you do when somebody wants that? What are some of the options that you guys can toss out there?
Something that I heard the other day that an agent does is, let's say somebody wants to overprice their house She says, okay, great. We can go with your price. We'll put your price in the market for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, if we don't get any action, then we're gonna go with my price.
Okay, that's definitely one strategy, list it at their price. And then agree to come down to 2 weeks to your price. If you do that, I highly encourage you to have it already filled out, sign here. So it's right there on the listing appointment. Great, we'll try it your way for 2 weeks. And then we're gonna go my way. Okay, so it's definitely one tactic. Give it a shot. What else you guys got? Let's go with overpriced and like Kathy's scenario, that there wasn't the money in there. There's flat out wasn't the money in there. Now
I
what do
guess
we?
another thing you could do is you could upfront the money to fix the house.
So like what Bree does with a Curbio?
Exactly. So it's like, fine, and if money's the issue, then let me make money the non-issue and get the house sold.
Cool. So now we got
I'm just putting
Curbio.
out things.
Say that last sentence again. I walked all over you, sweetie. I'm sorry.
I was just giving another suggestion. I mean, I don't know if people are gonna do this.
You're doing great, sweetie. You're doing fabulous. All right, who else got ideas? What to do with an overpriced listing?
Well, I set the stage. So I end up telling them I told you so, but that be prepared that if we don't have X number of showings or offers, that we need to be prepared to do a price adjustment. And I just had that conversation with property that I'm trying to get rented out. They had it over, they were greedy and wanted it at $400 more than what I suggested, $300 more than I suggested. And I said, okay, we'll test it out, but if we don't get this activity within this amount of time, we'll need to adjust it. And I gave them the comps ahead of time, the price per square foot, the comparison from, different neighborhoods and what theirs would be at. They ended up doing what I suggested at the beginning. And I pointed out that they lost money by not having it rented out. Had they taken this at the beginning, we wouldn't have lost 3 months.
Oh, hang on. That's really good. There's a definite huge, there's a key right in there. How much money did they lose over 3 months?
They lost, well, we could have written at 2,800. So 3 months times 2,800. Had they just
84? Is that 84?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So they had to pay their mortgage for 3 months. Had they listened to the facts or, instead of trying to be greedy, they would have, they're not hurting, but it hurt.
Yeah. Good. So how much is their mortgage-ish? Do you know?
Their mortgage is about 1,500.
So that's 4,500 minus 8,400. That is 30. Is that $39,000? $3,900?
Yeah.
3,900. I know 49, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85. Yeah, 39. Okay, good. My math. Anyway, so I love that. So how would you prep? Okay, so how would you prep them knowing that oh my gosh, I don't know how to word this. What is a way to word that up front using a 3-month scenario?
You know what? I used that scenario when we did the price adjustment as far as how much they lost. I knew exactly how much they lost because we didn't have it rented for 3 months. Now I'm thinking I should have put those numbers in at the beginning.
You stop shitting all over yourself though. It's a
Oh,
learning curve. So exactly. So a great way to present this might be something like, are you prepared to lose $3,900 over the next 3 months?
right.
And just let it hang out there, and just ask the question, are you prepared to do that? And most people, there's people that are emotional about their homes. They'll get emotional over money too. And then there's people that they're investors and they're cold, cool, collected. This is a money-making thing. There's no emotion. It's still $3,900. You know, if you have $3,900, what would you do with it? Would you be tossing it out for nothing? I mean, because I'll take it.
So they lost 3,900 with
Uh-huh.
the hopes of making 3,600 at the end of the year.
Oh, that is beautiful.
And I was like, you just wiped out any gain that you would have gotten.
Yep, that is very, very good. Yep, because you didn't listen, which it's interesting to be able to say I told you so without actually saying I told you so. I mean, you don't even really have to say it. People usually will say it for you. Okay, cool beans. What else you guys got?
Kathy? You're on mute.
Mute. Hang on, let me ask you to unmute. Let's try it that way and see if that, why is it not? There we go. All
Okay,
right, there you go.
that helps. Just so you guys know, this situation is that they owe more than what the market's gonna give them.
You're a short sale. You would be a short sale if that's a scenario. Yep. So, and that's definitely one of the options is short sale.
And that's part of what I was gonna say, but I know there's criteria for that.
What
Anyway.
criteria?
Well, they're not gonna just give it to her, that you have to prove that you need to do that. And the bank has to accept it.
Very good. So the criteria really is what the bank is willing to accept.
Yeah.
So, has anyone here ever done or been through a short sale? You, okay, all right. So, and you'll remember how crazy and hard and paperwork heavy and all that kind of stuff it was. All right. Get ready for that. I would highly, is that, actually, I should say it this way, because this is a better way to say it. Is this something that you want to build into your business model where you're doing all that paperwork and negotiating with the banks? I didn't want to either. So I found somebody that was willing to do it and then negotiated the price out who did it. And then I really watched and discovered, worked until I found a company that had a high ratio for closing their short sales. The average at that point in time, the industry average was 40% of short sales actually made it all the way through to a successful transaction where the bank did not take it back away again. I found a company that had an 80% ratio. I went with that company and they did. They were more expensive, but they had an 80% ratio. And I'll take getting paid twice as much money if it costs me a little bit more, you know, on the, well, not me, it costs the client more on the outside of it going into it. Okay, so short sale is definitely an option. What is another option? Let's see if we can get one more option out of here. If someone is owes more than what the house is worth.
Lease purchase?
Bingo, rent to own, lease purchase. So there's that also. There's also, so that's excellent. So we've got a couple of classes that Gary put together. Gosh, what was that? Maybe a year ago on those. So dig through and find those. We've got a client in that scenario. And refresh yourself on those, the different options between the two of them. I know that there's like Liz, I know knows how to help you through that and how to structure that also. And so do a couple other people on the team that have really done some in-depth training on that. So we got lease purchase, prep them, pre-signed reduction, Curbio. You can also go back to the banks and you can renegotiate with the bank without a short sale thing in your base, especially if the banker is one of those one's a portfolio. A lot of times the banks will let you renegotiate directly with them rather than having a bad debt to or asset ratio on their books. I would look up the bank. You guys have a cool tool where you can look up the banks and you can see what their asset troubled asset ratio is. So, and then know your numbers. Really, really, really know your numbers. I did have, I know I've told this story before. I had an overpriced listing I took. And I took it because we had that upfront conversation. I didn't do any advertising. I put a sign in the yard. I got a ton of buyers off of it because of the location of the property. We had that discussion ahead of time. It is not going to sell. And it didn't. It is not going to sell. I'm telling you right now, there is no way it's going to sell. I'm going to get a lot of work, a lot of buyers off of this. I'm not going to spend any money. And he was all right, do it, put a sign in the yard. And we did. And I did. I got a ton of buyers. So the one thing I don't want you to do, I don't want you to take an overpriced listing with no plan. And the reason why is because if you don't prep them ahead of time and set them up or have a plan, you're going to do this all the way through. And they already won the first battle with you because you took the overpriced listing when you knew it was overpriced. They already won the first battle. You will go like this through the entire life of the listing. You will be beating your head up against that brick wall. And in the end, when it doesn't sell, they're going to blame you. They will literally say, my agent sucked. And we did when we did it, because we allowed them to do that. So I really want you to understand that they're going to blame you for it, even though you beat them over the head and shoulders. Sometimes the best answer to, will you list my house at 190, is no. I will not do that. It's not going to sell, and you're going to hate me at the end of 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, 2 months, whatever it is. You're going to hate me. And then dig into motivation. Dig, because if you know why they want to sell, and and it's the gut punch motivation of why they want to sell, then you're at a place that's real, and you can help them move forward in a place that's real. But you can't when they're behind the walls of, we just want to sell our house because, we just want to sell. You can't help with that. You're not a real person yet. I got to dig down to what's real. So is all that makes sense?
Yeah.
All right. The more time you spend up front digging into what's real, the better that transaction's is going to go, and the more you're going to be able to help them, because after all, it's called real estate.
In this situation, just to add a more twist to it, the owner's wife is an EXP agent. She's new, but she's an EXP agent. She's in a different county. She's in Lynchburg. So she's in Susan's area. And my plan is to tell her, and they're getting ready to move into the DC area. Her husband's gotten a different job. But I found out from doing history that they've been trying to sell this house since shortly after they bought it.
What is her name?
So I expect that they thought this was
Kathy?
going to be an investment.
What is her name?
Abby Miles.
Okay, never mind, that's enough. I was like, because I know a person up there where Susan lives that has a house that is overpriced, that's a brand new EXP agent. And I'm like, so, and okay, great point. A lot of these people are going to be real estate agents, former real estate agents. Real estate agents, for the most part, your average real estate agent does 5 transactions in a year. That's it. They really don't know what they're doing, and they don't have any training, and they don't know. They just don't know, or in this case, brand new.
Yeah, and I think she needs to know, because the problem is that the house, what they owe is more than the market will bear, and they don't have the room. It's been tore up by a renter. They don't have the room to fix it up, and they're in this situation now.
Yep.
And when are they coming to the DC market? Because that's going to be a price shocker when she sees.
Yeah, I think
what the
their prices
prices
are
are.
renting, because of all that, but it sounds like the end of the month.
They're coming up to DC at the end of the month?
Yeah.
Yep. So then another
Wow.
conversation around that is also, I'm not going to give my house away. Yes, you are. You are. Well, I'll just wait until the market rebounds. Do you have 10 years?
And they're going to need every penny they can get their hands on to come up to this market, because
Exactly.
although it's softening,
Sticker
it's not
shock.
softening that much yet.
Sticker
No.
shock. It's like
And-
when I moved to San Francisco, it was massive sticker shock. All
Yeah.
right, I have to jump on my next phone call.
Yeah.
I hope that this was helpful. We're not
It
brain surgeons, but we do get to kind of do brain surgery, we really do. And it's just what it looks like. And I would rather know, if I'm going to my brain surgeon, what the real truth of it is, that I really need whatever it is that I really need, than somebody not telling me the truth. And just as hard as it was before to work with buyers, to keep buyers' heads in the game, as they lost, deal after deal after deal after deal, now we get to keep listers in the game as they struggle with, this is just what reality looks like. And
Yeah.
make the big bucks. And y'all are worthy of doing it, and highly trained out there, better than other people are in the market by far. But the most important part is you guys have really good hearts. And that, combined with the sharp head, is what's going to get you through this. It really is. All right, you guys. And on that happy note, have a really, really good day. I empower you all to go out there and change lives because that's what you do. All right.
Thanks so
Bye,
much.
y'all.
Have a good one, everyone.
You
All
too.
right, you too. Bye-bye.